Erin with the Diners Grove Public Library. I thought I could walk you around the library and show you a little bit about what happens behind the scenes and all the things that go on in the library. So whether you've been here before or you've never been here before, or maybe it's been some time, either way, we're going to have a great time seeing what goes on. So one of my favorite places to start in the library is what you see when you first walk in. That's our lobby. In this section, you're going to find seasonal displays. So this time, it's Halloween and school and some super fun, creepy stories. And then when we head back, we're going to see all the new stuff. That's going to be all of our new stuff for adults, for teens, and for kids. I like heading to this section first because there's all kinds of materials that I forgot about. So I like coming and seeing all the picture books and the fiction books, and then on the other side are going to be our new DVDs and our new nonfiction books. And they extend along here too. There's a whole bunch. We get new stuff just about every day. So this whole area feels like it's always changing. Now guys, I'm a children's librarian, so it's really not any surprise that I think the kids' room is the best part of the entire library. We have all kinds of things for kids. Books, DVDs, magazines, puzzles, language resources, video games, math resources, reading resources, our STEM room kits. There's all kinds of super fun, exciting things in here. So, when we walk back this way, I'm walking backwards, so just bear with me, guys. We're going to head first to the fiction section. And our fiction section wraps all the way down these shelves. It's a whole lot of books. In the far corner are our graphic novels and the textbooks and some magazines. And then on this first shelf here are going to be our award winners, so our Caudles and our Blue Stems and our Monarchs. You're also going to find all of our fiction books in Spanish. And then the middle school summer reads books as well. This whole section is going to be called the homework shelf. So if you're looking at our catalog and it says homework shelf or first floor H, that's going to be this whole section in here. We'll look at the catalog later, but just so you know. And then like I said, around the corner are our graphic novels, our mangas, our magazines, and the textbooks. Pretty good collection. So our fiction section wraps all the way down here. Now, who knows the difference between fiction and nonfiction? That's right. So chapter books, our fiction books, are going to be things that didn't happen. Now, maybe they might feel like they could happen, so it's realistic fiction, or maybe it's something that is so super fun with dragons or robots or aliens or something super crazy. Anyway, that's all fiction, and it all lives in here. The way we find your fiction books. We go to the shelf, and we're looking for this white sticker here. Can you read what that white sticker? Yeah. Can you read what that white sticker says? That's right. It's J fiction, so we know that it's in the fiction section. It's got Clements, comma A. Now, if we look at the cover of the book, what information on here matches the call number? That's right. Andrew Clements, that's our author. So in the fiction section, we're looking for call numbers that say J Fiction with the author's last name. So again, when you're looking for a book and it says J Fiction followed by the author's last name, it's going to be in one of the fiction shelves. They go in alphabetical order by the author's last name. It helps us find all the books a lot easier. You can also see on these end caps here who's between. So when I'm looking for J Fiction Clements, I'm going to look at the end cap and see where the name Clements would fall between. In this case, he's going to fall between the Blackbird and the Coleman. So I go and I look, and sure enough, here's that whole section. All the books by Andrew Clements are together, so that I can easily find them. So if I really, really like the Losers Club, I can go back to the fiction section, find J Fiction Clements, and pull another one. We keep walking down the fiction section. Again, all done in alphabetical order by the author's last name, with a few exceptions. Do you really like Minecraft? I think it's super neat. So the Minecraft books are all pulled together just because there's so many different authors and they have such cool stories. When we come down this way, we're going to see our series section. That's a lot of books. Now our series section are going to have things like Disney books or superhero chapter books or the Rainbow Magic books or the Magic Treehouse books. All series that have so many books, and that's awesome because if you like them, there's a whole bunch more to read. And they're all together in this section, J Series, with the series title. When we come down this way, we've got a couple things to look at. We've got some great books for different grades. Our first and second graders, our third and fourth graders, our fifth and sixth graders, and our seventh and eighth graders. One of the things I like best about being a librarian is being able to recommend great books to you. But if you're in a hurry or kind of want to do some browsing on your own and you're not sure where to start, this is a great place to look. Another super fun section is the Harry Potters. These are going to be all the Harry Potter things. It's going to be our audiobooks, our DVDs, our Blu-rays, our books, and even some of the super fun books that got added after the movies that show you the behind the scenes of making the movie. That's all down in here with J. Harry Potter. So again, if you're looking in the catalog and you see J. Harry Potter, that's all of this in here. And we've got it organized by the year, which I think is super helpful. We're going to wrap around this way, friends. I'm going to try and walk backwards again. We'll see how successful I am. Now, friends, I'm done with this Andrew Clements book, but maybe I don't remember where it goes. What should I do? Should I just put it on the shelf and hope that I guessed right? No, you're right. Instead, what I'm going to do is walk over to one of the black carts here where it says to place my unwanted materials. I'm going to put my book on the cart, whoop, and a staff member will come along and shove the book for me so that it goes in its right place. Do you know why we do that? That's right. If everybody put the stuff back where they thought it belonged, but it really didn't go there, it would be hard to find. And the goal of the library is that you find the things that you want super easily. So that way, we all work together to get you the books or the DVDs or the video games or whatever that you want as fast as we can, because we want you to enjoy it. When we walk back this way, we're going to see two fun collections, two different collections. Just like how I said the Harry Potter is all together, it's the same thing with the Pokemon. It's got all the books, the videos, and the same thing with Star Wars. Everything Star Wars, the books, the soundtracks, the DVDs, the Blu-rays, they all live on these yellow shelves. That's going to be our J Pokemon and our J Star Wars. They all live together. So that if you really love Star Wars or you really love Pokemon and you want to see everything we have, it's super easy. Back this way are going to be our JE readers. Now in this section are our books for our kids who are learning how to read on their own. It's a super fun time. In here, they're kind of organized the same way that our fiction books are, where we've got our JE reader and our author's last name. So if you're looking in the catalog, it's going to be our JE reader with the author's last name, and you'll find your book. We do those as story form, and we also do them in nonfiction too. We'll talk about the nonfiction section in a little bit, so you can see the difference between a fiction call number and a nonfiction call number. Wrapping back this way are going to be all of our picture books. Our picture books extend from this shelf all the way back this way. So this whole section, starting from this shelf all the way back, are our picture books. In here, all kinds of picture book friends can be found. Our Mo Willems, our Pete the Cat, our Give a Mouse a Cookie, all kinds of super fun stuff. There's a couple different call numbers in here that I think you want to know about. When we're looking in the catalog for a book, and our book says JE Favorites, followed by a character or a subject like science or princesses and fairies or potty training, that's going to be this section in here. And the books are done in slightly different a way. Normally in the library, we try and organize them all in alphabetical order. But because there are so many of a different type of book, like our Disney book, and you might want to see all the Disney characters around. Your Moana, your Coco, your Zootopia, your Finding Nemo. Instead, we've got it so that you can flip through and see everything. There's a whole bunch of choices. But if we're in the picture book section, and our picture book starts with JE, that's going to start on this shelf. So our picture books are done in a similar way that our fiction books are. When we look at the end cap, and we see our JE and some last names. Because our picture books are organized by the author's last name. So this one is J.E. Ellis. And when we look at the book, we can see, here's the author's name, Carson Ellis. So when a book has a J.E. followed by a last name, it's in our picture book section. Now friends, since I found this book, should I just put it back on the shelf, hoping that maybe I put it in the right spot? Nope, you're right. I'm going to hold on to it until I find a black cart that lets me know I can put it there for the staff to come around and put it back where it belongs. So our picture books wrap along this way. And what I like to show kids, and I think you're going to figure it out right away, down here are our toddler books. Now, let's look at our toddler books and see why they might be good for our toddler friends. I'm going to grab Today I'll Be a Unicorn. I mean, who doesn't feel like a unicorn sometimes? If we look at the book, I want you to kind of, and it's hard because I know you're not here with me, but I think you might be able to tell, looking at the book and the pages, see how it kind of bends? You notice that? Why do you think this type of book, with its different type of tougher pages, might be good for our toddler friends? That's right, because our toddler friends love to explore their books, but because they're learning, sometimes they're a little bit tougher on their books, which is why our toddler books are stronger. For our strong babies and toddlers. These are going to have our toddler call number, and that's how you know that they are for our toddler friends. Again, I'm not going to put the book back on the shelf because I don't remember where it goes. I'm going to hold on to it. When we walk back this way, so we're walking away from the picture book section, away from the toddler section, we're going to head towards the nonfiction section. Along this shelf here are going to be our parenting books, our local author collection, some magazines, and our holiday section. Now our holiday section is 2 different holidays. There's Christmas all the way here, which you can kind of tell because of the Christmas sticker. But friends, this shelf here is totally empty. Why do you think it's totally empty? What holiday is coming up? It's Halloween. So all of our Halloween books normally live here. Because it's close to Halloween now, they're all checked out. Super great. Walking back. The nonfiction section are all of these shelves. Now, do you remember what I said the difference between fiction and nonfiction is? That's right. So our fiction books are going to be stories. Our nonfiction books are going to be things that actually happen. Real people, real places, real events, real animals, real things that actually happen. All fact books. There are 2 different spots in here that I want to point out to you. Our first one is going to be our biography. Now, if we look at the end cap, our biography starts with JB and someone's last name. Now, if you know what a biography is, you can probably guess whose last name it is. But let's see. Let's see if you can figure it out with me. Okay. So this call number is J.B. Washington. And when we look at the cover, the author's name is Albert Marin, so that doesn't match. But the title gives us a clue. That's right. The book is about George Washington, the first president of the United States. And because it's a biography about George Washington, we put the call number as J.B. Washington, a biography about George Washington. So if you're doing a report or you want to learn more about George Washington, you can go to the biography section and see all the books that are about the same person. But the nonfiction section is done slightly differently. All along here, and you can see on the end caps, our numbers. But just in case you need a little bit of a clue where to go, we've put these fun signs to kind of indicate the different sections and the numbers that go along with those sections. Now, our nonfiction section is organized in a way that's called the Dewey Decimal System. And the Dewey Decimal System is a system that was created by a guy named Melville Dewey a long, long time ago. And what he did was take all different kinds of subjects and try to group them together so that you could find all the lizard books in the same place, all the books about World War II in the same place. So our nonfiction books are organized so that you can find all the books on one subject together. For example, the call number on this book, can you read it? That's right, it's J796.357CHI. If we look, it's the Child World Encyclopedia of Baseball. So if I know, or if I see and I look it up, or I ask one of the librarians to help me find the baseball books, and I know that the baseball call number is J796.357, chances are I'm going to be able to find, oh, there they are, the rest of the baseball books that are going to have the same call number. The only difference is these letters on the very end, and that will tell you the author. So that if you're looking for a specific baseball book, you can go straight to that spot. There's all different kinds of subjects to explore in nonfiction. There are animals, there are history, there's science experiments, super fun science experiments, you guys. There's dinosaurs, there's reptiles, there are books in all different kinds of different languages. It's a great place to explore. And there are so many of them. But just like how we have displays in the fiction section, we also have displays on the nonfiction section on different topics. It's a great place to start if you're not entirely sure what you want to read. It's a fun place to just look and see what topic inspires you to learn a little bit. And it changes maybe every other month. We try and change them out. But if somebody takes a book off the shelf and checks it out, we replace it with a different book. So then there's always something new to look at. Along here are the audiobooks on CD and in the playaway. The playaways are going to be kind of like an MP3 player. And they're also done like our fiction section with the author's last name. The difference is it says CD on there so that you know it's an audiobook. The playaways are done kind of the same way, but they say playaway. And that whole section, all the way in here, there are all different types of audiobooks in here. It's fun to read the book, but it's also super fun to listen to it because you get to experience it in a whole new way. Along here, just like how we have our audiobooks here and our chapter books, these are going to be our audiobooks of the picture books. They're done with the read aloud call number, and they have CDs in them, or some of them will have a player attached to them. And you can push the button and listen to the book read it out loud. When we keep walking, we're going to see our puzzles, our reading resources, our math resources, and our language resources. So if you're looking to learn something new or brush up on a skill, this area is a great spot, especially if you're doing some at-home learning. When we turn around, we see all of our DVDs and Blu-rays. Now these are going to be nonfiction, they're going to be TV series, and they're going to be movies. So things like Frozen, things like The Magic School Bus, things like The Lion King, they all live in here together. And one other thing I want to show you, well, that's a lie. I want to show you everything in the library. Our playaways are their own contained unit. They look a little bit like a tablet. And they come in all different types of topics. They're just a different way to learn. They're not a movie. They're their own contained unit. Walking through this way are all of the video games on all different types of systems. The video games are organized by the system. So if you have a Wii, or a Wii U, or a Nintendo Switch, or an Xbox One, or an Xbox 360, or a PS4, or a PS3, there might even be another one I'm not thinking of. There's a video game for you. Come back this way. And you can kind of see the whole department. It's a big place, you guys. The desk is where I would work. Normally where you'd find me. So when I work at a desk, I'm normally sitting at the computer, answering phones, but what I really like to do is answer your questions. And I know you guys have a ton of really great ones. We get asked all kinds of questions. Things like, where's the kind of book I like? Can you make some recommendations to me? Can you give me a little bit of help finding something? We really like answering all of them. And it's the best part of the job, is talking to you guys. So, if you see somebody sitting at the desk wearing their name tag, you know that it's a person you can ask. And it's my job to answer whatever question you want, however many questions you have. And the worst thing I'll say is, I don't know the answer. Let's look it up. Which is super fun for me, because then I get to learn something too. We come out from the desk. Oh, I have all these books that we talked about. Where do they go? That's right. They go on the unwanted cart, so that they can get reshelved and go home with someone later. So guys, since we took a tour of the department, I thought I could show you a little bit more behind the scenes. We're going to look at our circulation department, so what happens when a book gets checked out, and we're going to go to our access services department, which is what happens when books and movies and all of that come to the library and when they start their life here. So when it's time to check out your books, it's a super fun and easy way to do it. Now you have two options. You can go to the circulation desk over in the lobby, or you can use our self-service machines. I'm going to take my library card, and I'm going to scan my barcode, and it pops right up. That lets me know I'm good to go. Now I can place up to 5 items on the square. When they all check out green with a check mark, and it's the same number of items that I've put on the square, I know I'm good to go. I'm going to hit the done button because I don't have any more to check out. And I would like a receipt. I'm going to print our receipt. The receipt lets me know when the due dates are and the titles of the book. I like to keep my receipt with all of my books so that when it comes time to return the books, I can look at my pile and look at my receipt and know that I've returned the same number of books that I checked out. But where do our books go to be returned? Let's go find out. Okay, friends, I've read all my books, and I really loved them, but now it's time to return them. So our books can go in two different places. There's a drop-in outside the library, but when you come into the library, there's a bin right here that tells me to place all of my items. I'm going to do that. I placed all 4 of my items because they matched my receipt, and the ones we checked out earlier, I'm going to put them all in the bin. They'll take a little bit of time to come off my account just because we want to make sure that the books are clean and ready to go for the next person. So I won't worry about that too much. Instead, I'll know that because I put the books in the bin, they'll make their way back to the shelf. When something comes into the library, it needs all these kinds of things. It needs its barcode, it needs to be wrapped up, it needs its call number sticker, and there's one place in the library that does all of that and even more, and it's our Access Services Department. We're going to go in and talk to Amy, the manager of the department, and talk a little bit about what they do. Hey, Amy.
Hi. Welcome to the Access Services Department.
Hey.
You guys want to know about what we do back here?
We really do.
Well, we order all of the books for the library's collection, and every day we get deliveries of new items. Then we unpack those boxes and add item records for all the books in our catalog and assign them a call number. And that's what makes it possible for you to find them in the online catalog when you're looking for materials.
Amy, that seems like a lot of work. Now, how many books and movies and things like that does the library have, like, right now?
Right now, I can tell you.
Oh!
We have 257,130 items in our collection.
Wow!
And we added 34,230 of those in our collection last year.
Wow. So that's everything. That's our books, our DVDs, our video games, our puzzles, our STEM room stuff, all of that.
Our board games,
our board games, our kits, all of that comes in here. That's really cool. Now, Amy, I have a book. And I noticed that you guys did things like put a wrapper on it to protect the cover.
That's true.
And you put your barcode sticker on there and the call number sticker. Could you tell me a little bit about that and why it's important to have things like the wrapper and the barcode? And even, I noticed, it's a little hard to see. I don't know if you guys can see it because it's white on white. But Amy,
that is the special RFID tag.
Now, what is this sticker back here?
Well, first of all, you asked about the covers and the barcodes and the call number. The covers will help make a book last longer when it gets some wear and tear from use. The call number will tell you where to find it on our shelves. Mm-hmm. And the barcode is the unique item number that identifies a particular book. So when it's checked out to you, the system knows what book you have.
Oh, so that it doesn't think that I have all of our copies of Koala Hospital. It knows that I just have the one.
Just the single one.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Every item that comes in are given a barcode, and we have them on rolls right here.
Oh,
so when
wow.
an item is added to our database, that's when the special number is assigned.
And each item gets a different number.
Item. Now these tags here are called RFID tags, and these are programmed with the barcode number. And that's what allows the self-checkouts and our system sorter to recognize an item and to check it out to you, or to check it back in when you return it.
Oh, so that's what that tag is for. That's neat. Okay, so if this book comes in and it doesn't have any of these stickers or anything like that, how do you know that it should go with its call number? How do you know? Do you just know all the numbers? Do you have it memorized? Or is there something you can do to kind of help find those?
Oh, no, we certainly don't have them memorized.
That'd be a lot of numbers.
That would be a lot of numbers. But all of our nonfiction follows the Dewey Decimal System, where things are ordered by discipline and class, and that gives us an idea of what number should be assigned. And this book here is about koalas. So all of the books about koalas you'll find in this number, 599.25.
Oh, that's right. And we did see that before, friends, when we took our tour of the department. We talked about the Dewey Decimal Number and the Dewey Decimal System. So in Access Services, they're the ones that decide where all the books go. That's a lot of decisions to make. Now, Amy, what happens if, let's say, I returned this book, but oh man, something happened and the pages are falling out, or maybe there was some water spilled on it? What happens if a book gets damaged?
Well, if it's something that we can fix, like if the binding is broken, we can use our special binding machine to repair it.
Now the binding, can you remind me? The binding.
That is this right here. There's a special glue that helps hold all of those pages together, and if they come loose or start to fall out, we can add more glue and fuse it together with our special machine.
What if like a DVD skips a lot? What happens then?
Well, we also have a machine that will help repair discs by cleaning them.
Wow, that's really amazing. Amy, what's the coolest thing about working in the department?
Well, the best thing is we get to see all the new materials when they first arrive before everybody else does. So we get to see all the exciting things like the puzzles and the kits before anyone else does. And we get to make it possible for everyone to use these great resources.
Wow! So all the hard work that Access Services does, even though we don't always see them, is always seen on the shelf with the stickers and the call numbers and all the items that get placed on the shelf. Thanks so much, Amy. We really appreciate it.
Sure. Anytime. Thanks for visiting.
Friends, you saw me return my books in the bin. Now, normally, I would come to the self-check-in machine and use that. But because of how the pandemic is, we've closed it off so that we can quarantine the books a little bit longer. But I wanted to give you a little bit behind the scenes of what happens when a book gets returned. And that's everything that comes into the library. That's your books, your movies, your video games, your magazines, your puzzles, your kits, all of that goes through our self-sorter. So we're going to see the behind-the-scenes look at our circulation department and all the work they do to get your materials back on the shelf. Hi!
Hi!
Friends, this is Christine.
Hi friends, welcome to the circulation department.
Christine works in our circulation department and runs the whole place. It's a busy job.
It is a busy job.
Christine, can you tell us a little bit about the self-check-in machine and how it works?
Absolutely. The self-check machine is something that we're really proud of. And when you check out materials here at the library, when you bring them back to us, you can actually return the materials in the bins and then we feed them into this sorter machine. This machine checks your materials in and sorts it into one of 7 bins. Let me show you, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what you've just seen. We place the item here, it goes onto the conveyor belt, and now watch it as it travels down into the correct bin. Let's do it again. As you can see, different materials go into different bins. How does that happen?
How does it happen?
Any ideas? Well, let me show you. What we have in each item is what's called an RFID sticker. This sticker is like a mini computer of sorts. Just in this little square, it has the item information, so the title information. It has what bin it should go in when it's returned, as well as a lot of other things like, is this item checked out? Who it's checked out to, those kinds of things.
Oh, so when it goes through the bins, when it goes through the machines, and it goes in the bins and it comes off your card. And that's how we know the item has come back on time.
Absolutely.
Ah.
Yeah. So just that little sticker does all of that work for us.
And we saw that little sticker in Access Services, friends. Remember, Amy told us about how they put the information on there. And so now, part of that book's journey is that the book comes back here and they use that sticker, that RFID tag, to get sent through here.
Let's do it again.
Whoa!
Pretty cool, right? Now, obviously, obviously, with any kind of machine, you always have to be careful, and our staff here are always really careful. If there's ever a time that the machine gets full or jammed, which can happen, we have something that we like to call the emergency stop button. This is always something really popular with groups that come through.
It is.
What you would do is if you have to, it's an emergency, there's a book emergency, you would come and you would press this big red button. You would press it down and the whole machine would turn off. Then once we clear the jam or whatever the issue is, we pull that red button back up and the machine starts up again. So a lot of friends are worried about safety, and I think that's such a great thing. And so we wanted to just show you that it's very safe. We never put our hands in the machine.
Right.
And if we ever have an issue with a book getting stuck, we press that big red button and everybody's okay.
And I've seen, when I've come back here to find books for patrons, I see the staff not reaching in when books are on the machine.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Because it might fall on their heads. And,
Yeah.
that would be bad. Miss Christine, could you talk a little bit? So once they go in the bins, then you've got these carts. What are the carts for?
So these carts are for each section of the library. I'm going to turn this one around here. This cart here is the items that go into this first bin here. These are audiobooks on the top. There's some DVDs. And then there's also some CDs. We have these separated into various parts, into various bins that are associated with the various parts of the library. So that way, all of these items are all near each other. They're all approximately in the same area. So when somebody goes to shelve these materials, they're not running all over the library. They're just going to one place. So it really helps keep our workflow steady and consistent.
Yeah, and a lot faster, too, so that the items, when they go on the same cart, they're going to the same place. So that makes it a lot faster for the stuff to get back on shelf so that other people can check it back out.
Or you can check out the same thing again if it's something that you really love.
Which totally happens.
I do that a lot.
Which totally happens. Now, does the machine ever make mistakes?
You know, the machine never makes mistakes. Sometimes we might make a mistake when we are programming that little tag, or if something has been reclassified. So it came in as a certain type of material, but then we reclassified it. But the machine, just kind of like computers, will only do what you tell it to do. So it really doesn't make mistakes.
Now, what if, I know sometimes our friends at different schools return their books here, or maybe from a different library.
Yep.
How do we know that those books don't go back on the shelf, but instead they go back to the place that they belong?
Yep, that's a great question, Ms. Erin. So that happens a lot. If you return your materials from your school library, no problem. We have you covered. What would happen is if it did go through the machine, it would go to this end bin right here. That's called our exceptions bin. That means, hey, this is weird. We don't know where this book belongs. Probably doesn't belong to our library, or so it may be a school book or a book from another library. So we take those and we process those by hand. We have a whole cupboard full of books from District 58. And a librarian from District 58 comes every week to pick them up.
Right, okay. So then there's no way that my book will go back on the shelf. Instead, it'll go back to the library that it's supposed to belong to.
That's the plan.
Oh, perfect. So, once it goes on the carts, they need to be organized in a certain way.
They do. So what happens then, and I'll bring a cart over here, is we have a cart full of books.
Oh my gosh, that's so many materials.
I know. Our shelving team, who are the team of staff members that are in charge of putting all the materials back onto the carts, put these in alphabetical order before they leave the workroom. And they do that by the spine, and that's all in alphabetical order.
Our call number stickers.
Yes.
Oh.
And then we put those back onto the shelves. As you can see, we have quite a few books to go back on the shelf. And Miss Tracy, you're welcome to show everybody.
The library's a busy place.
Yes, that's what we have just for this morning.
Wow.
And they are numbered, so we put the newest materials go at the back of the line, and the oldest go out first. So, so we try to make sure we get the books all back on the shelf. And would you believe that by the time we close tonight, all of these materials will be shelved?
I've seen it. It's true.
It's true. It's like a miracle.
How many items do you think get circulated how many items do people check out every month?
Every month, well, so last month we had a total of about 80,000 materials.
That's a lot.
That does include digital materials
all
as
your
well.
ebooks.
And that is slightly down because of the pandemic, of course. But last year, we circulated about 1.4 million materials.
I remember. We had a big celebration when we circulated 1 million materials.
Absolutely.
Because that was such a big deal, you guys.
Yes.
We're a super busy place, and the circulation department makes it so that all of our friends can find all of their materials as fast as possible.
Well, and our friends in all other departments, especially the kids' room, do such a great job bringing friends like you so we can show off our cool machine.
Thanks. Miss Christine, what's the coolest thing about working in the circulation department?
I have to say the coolest thing is our patrons.
We
get to interact with patrons of all ages. And one of my favorite things is this little window here that's kind of covered by
right now.
But when you do come to the library to visit us, you can see the sorting machine when these bins aren't in the way. And I love seeing our friends looking in the windows to watch their materials getting returned. Many times, we'll invite them in to take a look at the sorter. When things get back to normal, we welcome you guys to come back here and take a look. But certainly interacting with our patrons is absolutely my favorite.
It's my favorite part, too.
Yeah.
It's my favorite part, too. Thanks so much, Christine. We really appreciate it. And thanks for showing us the self-check-in machine. It's the coolest thing.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Hope to see you soon.
Friends, thanks for coming along with me. We looked at all the different call numbers that are in the library, all the different things that are in the kids' room. We talked to our friends in Access Services and in CIRC about the behind-the-scenes look at the library. I hope you learned something. And I hope you come and see us and ask all kinds of questions, because it really is our best part of our day when we get to spend it with you. Thanks again, friends. We'll see you real soon.